of the Nigerian economy, and he's married with children.
It's the 7th edition of the Lagos Economic Summit.
For us not to have
Powering Lagos, real opportunities, endless possibilities. That was the theme of the summit tagged Ehingbeti 2014. For 3 whole days, experts in the power sector and other fields, both within and outside Nigeria, gathered here to brainstorm on a wide range of issues, all bordering on power and how the city of Lagos could tap into the opportunities created through the privatization of the power sector in the country to achieve its true potential. Among the issues that came up for discussion is how to effectively manage the transition challenges from a public to a private sector-controlled power industry.
We talk of private sector, public sector. It's fine, but in the real world of work, I think it's difficult to have this binary, division between the private and the public. And I think Nigeria has a way of moving from one pillar to another post, which I think is not really helpful. I think we should get it clear whether private sector or public sector approach to energy service delivery. They are all the means, they are not the end. And I think it's important we interrogate each of these means and find out which of these means is useful for us so that we can get proper results.
Another panelist at the session, Chief Executive Officer, Benin Distribution Company, Funke Osibobu, said effective communication is key in managing this transitional change.
We need to match service with pricing. But today's pricing, let me be frank with you, one of the lack of communication is we're not relating the price at which we generate, make our own private power generation with the price in the market today. We are generating power privately, all of us, at anything between 40 to 70 naira per kilowatt hour. Meanwhile, we are buying public, depending on where we're coming from, at anything between 5 and at best 12 naira. And nobody is asking what service do I get for that. Of the Nigerian economy. And
away from that hall, another group of panelists in a separate room were busy dissecting yet another aspect of the challenges. The discussion here centered on adequate delivery of gas to Power Lagos.
First and foremost on regulation, we talked a little bit about, finding a way to have more of a regulatory framework that encourages domestic gas use. That's a choice our government has to make, okay? It's not a pricing mechanism. We can make money. Players on this distinguished list of my panelists and other players here can make money in gas.
Scott outlined 4 dimensions to consider under which Nigeria, particularly Lagos, could increase domestic gas supply.
Upstream use, instead of pumping it back into the wells or finding other uses for gas that are not domestic gas economic development generating, we have to basically solve that. And then, the other thing is again around this export. Find to address our needs to both meet our LPG exports, but find ways to start using gas to power our domestic economy.
Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer, Oando Gas and Power, Bolaji Osunsanya, and General Manager, Downstream Gas, Chevron Nigeria, Lanre Kalejaiye, came in with handy recommendations.
We have to look for creative ways of leapfrogging infrastructure. The pipeline is just a travel mechanism. There are other ways of bringing gas from the supply hubs to markets. We must, as the other countries in the region are looking at, think about regasification. LNGs either from either from Nigeria, Bonny, or from other parts of the world must find their way into Nigeria, must find their way into Lagos. And they're not rocket science technologies. The storage mechanisms, the regasification facilities are things that are within us. There are companies already operating in the zone that can do this very quickly. I think there's a good chance that if we looked at mini LNGs barge-floated mini LNGs into Lagos, we would also be able to quickly bridge the gap.
We really cannot look at the gas delivery to Lagos State outside the context of the national issue. And it starts from the policy framework that's in place. We've talked about infrastructure, which is being driven by NNPC at this point. And really, you have to look at the entire value chain when you're having these discussions. So it's right from the gas producer to the gas transmission companies, to the generators of the power, to the bulk trader, transmission, distribution, and then to the end user.
At the official flag-off of the summit, Lagos State Governor Babatunde Fashola said the state government had already taken a number of measures to adequately harness power for development in the state. He had also expressed optimism on the outcome of the summit.
As bad as the situation may be today, there's a lot that can be achieved even if we conserve the insufficient power that we have. Putting out power points that we don't need, conserving water as a way to conserve energy, because you need energy to produce water, and so on and so forth. So I think that truly interesting times lie ahead. We are taking on an audacious challenge, really, in terms of power as a key to this summit. But if our track record is anything to go by, summit after summit, we have delivered on the results of implementing the resolutions of every summit. And I expect that this will not be different.
Now that all the talks are over, the next challenge for the state is to compress all the recommendations at this summit into working documents and begin to walk the talk. Chidinma Chikezie, TV 360, Lagos.